We had a request for a chair question from the multiple choice section 1 of fall 16 test 1. The only way to do this question is to draw your chairs. Which of the following molecules is the least stable? Okay, so chairs here. Draw cis-1,2-diisopropyl cyclohexane. Not fair, not fair, not fair. And we'll put the group on the first carbon the same every time. I chose this because if there's chairs that have both groups equatorial, those are the most stable, right? If there's a chair with both groups axial, it's the most stable. It spends 0% of its time with both groups axial, and the other chair where both groups are equatorial spends not 100% of its time there, and it's more stable. So criteria 1 is if both groups can be equatorial, that's the best. So remember that. So in cis-1,2, I cannot have both groups equatorial because cis to down is also down, and the axial bond is the one that's down on carbon 2. So in the other chair, this chair is backwards, EQ up top, ax on the bottom. Bottom chair is ax EQ. Do we agree? Yeah. Because ax becomes, EQ becomes ax, and ax becomes EQ. So same stability. I shouldn't use that color. It doesn't read very well. It was in the homework. You had this one in the homework too, huh? Okay. So one group axial, one group equatorial. We don't know if that's great compared to the other ones. We'll see. Trans 1,3. Same story. You know why? This is down. Trans means the other group has to be up. Do you agree? What's the up bond on 3? Axial or equatorial? Axial. Same story as the previous one, almost. Same story as, I guess this is I, 1, except now, a lot of you have been doing your owls, what made me happy to see. Here, there is no, some of you know what this means. Gauche interaction between isopropyls. What does he mean? What does he mean? It means he's putting his eyeball and he's looking right here. Here's my eyeball looking along this bond. Straight down, isopropyl. H there. Another H on the back carbon here. Other isopropyl right here. 60-degree interaction. You know what that's called? Yeah, I'm going to put it in light pink. 60-degree dihedral angle. There's a name for it. Some of you saw it on videos. I never mentioned it until now. Gauche. It's not ideal. Now in this one, we don't have isopropyls on adjacent carbons. You don't have to talk to me about gauche, eclipsed, staggered, anti, anything, nothing. They're not adjacent to each other. Okay, so if I had to choose between 2 and 1, they both are one axial, one equatorial. That part is exactly the same, But I'm liking 2 a little better than 1 because the groups are never close to each other. They're not on adjacent carbons, so they're never that close to each other. So two's a little more stable than 1. So most, least stable. So far, I'm liking 2 better than 1. And I bet in 3 we get both groups equatorial for the first time. Maybe not. We'll see. Yes. No. Cis means both on the same side, right? Wow. Same story again. Same story as 2. So whatever I said in the story applies here too. So what do? We say 2 and 3 have roughly the same stability, and they're both the most stable because they both have 1 EQ, 1 X, 1 EQ, 1 X. The other chair, same story, right?
Aren't they further apart from each other?
Yeah, they're nowhere near. They're not anywhere near touching each other at all.
Yeah, but
No, one's above the ring and one's below. They don't know about each other at all. They have no interaction whatsoever. And here, they're pointing in like here. Is there any interaction between my hands here and here? No. How about between my hands here and here? No. How about between my hands here and here? Now you're getting close. Got to be adjacent. Adjacent right here. And that's it. So I would have to say following molecules are the least stable. I didn't answer my own question. I do have the straightforward answer to that question is right here. We already answered it. It's right there. I mean, if I made that a short answer question, there's the answer for least to most. You know, I like that kind of question anyway, right? And the least stable is the answer to the question. Okay. Got the gauche interaction. The other 2 do not suffer from said gauche interaction. The wording is terrible in this question too. Which of the following molecules is the least stable? 1 is the most stable. What? These answers aren't even right. This is awful. Blame COVID. Just straight up, blame COVID. Yes.
When you first draw your chair, like when you put the first bond on it, how do you decide if it's axial or equatorial?
She asked, when I first draw my first chair, how do I decide if it's axial or equatorial? In a stability question, I chose to draw my first group equatorial regardless, because I want to see the most stable conformation. And then in the next one, it'll be axial, and the other one switched to equatorial. But it was an executive decision to answer her question. I just kept that variable constant, right? So if I had to reword answers and stuff here, I just say, well, 1 is the least stable. And don't even say is the least stable. 1. 2 is the least stable. I'm just reading the question properly for the first time, apparently. C. 3 is the least stable. D. 1 and 2 are roughly the least stable. E. 3, and I'm just making new answers now. And they're both roughly the same stability. And it's A, B. I didn't do 2 and 3. So if you thought 2 and 3 were both the worst, you would choose the last answer. If you thought just 3 was worse, you choose this one. But thinking the way we're thinking, 1 is the worst. It has gauche interactions. There we go.